Hello and welcome to the fourth and final lesson of our topic, which is position and direction. In today's lesson, we're going to be looking at describing shapes and their movement. There are some keywords that we've been looking at throughout the week, and today's keywords that we need to be using are clockwise and anti-clockwise, full turn, half turn, quarter turn, and three-quarter turn. Remembering that clockwise is the way that the hands around a clock move, and anti-clockwise is the opposite direction of the way that the hands move around a clock. So let's have a look at our first question. It says, do you know what the next shape in the pattern is? If you're not too sure, then we first need to follow the pattern to find the rule. So we look at the shapes that we have, which is triangle, pentagon, trapezium, triangle, pentagon, trapezium. And we can see that there are three shapes that are repeating themselves, and it's the triangle, the pentagon, and the trapezium. So that means that the next missing shapes must start again using the triangle, the pentagon, and the trapezium. Do you know what the 15th shape is? To help us find the 15th shape on the pattern, we can number the shapes of the pattern itself. So, firstly, triangle is the first shape, then it's the pentagon, then it's trapezium. And if I continue to count up in threes to the number 15, we'll hopefully find out which shape it will be. So triangle will be the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. So the 15th shape would be a trapezium. Let's have a look at these questions here, the patterns. So we have a repeating pattern. We have the triangle. It says triangle upwards and triangle down. So what would come next? That's right, it would be triangle up and then triangle down. And we know that because of the repeating pattern. Triangle up and so on. The next one's a little bit more difficult, but let's have a go. Firstly, we will look at following the pattern to find the rule. So it's trapezium up, trapezium to the right, trapezium to the left. This is our repeating pattern, and therefore we start again from the beginning. Trapezium up, trapezium right, trapezium left, trapezium up, and so on. Now this one's a little bit more difficult. We do have a pattern, and actually the pattern's been finished for us, and we need to find out what the missing shapes are. For us to do that, we can still follow the pattern to find the rule. Arrow up, arrow down, arrow up. What would come next? Arrow down. After that, arrow up. Well done. So now what I want to look at are the key words that we mentioned at the beginning of the lesson, and to create the pattern by following the rule. So my start position for this peach pentagon is here, and I've got the red dot at the top just to make it a little bit easier for myself. And each time I have to turn the shape 1/4 turn clockwise. So I've got it here, I turn 1/4 turn clockwise. From there, I turn another quarter turn clockwise. Following on from that one, another quarter turn clockwise. And lastly, a final quarter turn clockwise. And you'll see that our pattern has started again. There it is. Okay, I'm going to change what the rule is now. So this time round with the triangle, I'm going to have to change the rule. Sorry, the rule's been changed. I'm going to have to look at the pattern. So here is my start position. And it now says half turn clockwise. So if I have a half turn clockwise, a half turn, let's just make that nice and straight. And then it says half turn clockwise again. And then another half turn clockwise. And then another half turn clockwise. And that's my pattern there. Okay. This one is actually very tricky. Let's have a go at doing this one here. It's to create the pattern by following the rule. Okay, so I have my first trapezium shape here, and it's asking me to make a 3/4 turn clockwise. Okay, so that's 1/4, 2 quarters, 3/4 turn. And from that position, I need to make another 3/4 turn. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4 turn. And from that position, another 3/4 turn. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4 turn. And my final shape, I have to yet again do another 3/4 turn. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4 turn. Okay. So if we were to have a go at describing the pattern for these shapes, what would it be? We've got the word clockwise here. I want you to use that in your answer. Have a quick go. Pause the video if you need to. Okay, so if we were going to describe the turn for the pattern, it might be written something like this. The pentagon turns a half turn each time. The pentagon is turning a half turn each time, and if we wanted to be really challenging in our writing, we would use the word clockwise. So the pentagon turns a half turn clockwise each time. Let's have a look at this one. So again, we now need to be describing the pattern. And here we have some instructions. So this is our starting position. And it says 1/4 turn anti-clockwise. Okay, so I'm going to move my shape over here. And my first rule is to turn 1/4 turn anti-clockwise. Remember, it's the opposite direction around a clock. And then the same again, 1/4 turn anti-clockwise. 1/4 turn anti-clockwise. And 1/4 turn anti-clockwise. And we see that the shape is now the beginning of the next pattern. Let's have a look at this one. So our start position is here, and it says 3/4 turn anti-clockwise. So I'm going to move my shape into the next box, and it says 3/4 turn anti-clockwise, 1/4 turn anti-clockwise, 2/4 turn anti-clockwise, 3/4 turn anti-clockwise. Move to my next shape. Do the same again. 1/4 turn anti-clockwise, 2/4 turn anti-clockwise, 3/4 turn anti-clockwise. Move along. Following what the rule is, 3/4 turn anti-clockwise, 3/4 turn anti-clockwise. So that's 1/4 turn anti-clockwise, 2/4 turns anti-clockwise, and 3/4 turns anti-clockwise. It's very confusing. And my last instruction to move the shape 3/4 turns anti-clockwise. So there's 1/4 turn anti-clockwise. That's my 2nd quarter turn anti-clockwise, and my 3rd quarter turn anti-clockwise. You can see that we've gone back to the original position, and we would then start a new pattern. Okay, so if I were to describe the turn for the pattern, the rule, in fact, I'm going to change that now. The rule for the pattern, what would it be? Pause the video, have a quick go at writing it down, and then I'll reveal the answer. Okay, so hopefully you may have written something similar to this. The rectangle turns 1/4 turn anti-clockwise, half a turn anti-clockwise, then a quarter turn anti-clockwise. So this is our original, and the rectangle turns 1/4 turn anti-clockwise, half a turn anti-clockwise, then a quarter turn anti-clockwise. And you can see that we got back to the original pattern. Now, here we have Captain Marvel. I have some questions up at the top here. It says, how can we work out the missing shape? Well, we can work out the missing shape by following the pattern to the rule. So we have Captain Marvel facing upwards, Captain Marvel facing down, Captain Marvel facing up, Captain Marvel facing down. So we can instantly see that the repeating pattern is here. So if Captain Marvel was pointing down, the next one would be Captain Marvel pointing up, then Captain Marvel pointing down, and finally Captain Marvel pointing up. What would the next shape look like? Well, we've just done that. So the Captain Marvel will be facing upwards. And how would you describe the pattern? Have a quick go at writing that one down using the keywords here. Great. So the way that you might want to write this down is Captain Marvel is turning half a turn each time. Now, I haven't used clockwise or anti-clockwise there because you could actually use both of them. Let's have a look at this pattern. How can we work out the missing shape? Well, we know again that we look for the repeating pattern. So we have Captain Marvel facing up, Captain Marvel facing right, Captain Marvel facing up. So the repeating pattern is here. So what would the next shape look like? It would be Captain Marvel will be to the right. Ooh, she was flying then. There. And again, repeating the pattern and continuing it on, filling in the missing blank. How would you describe the pattern? Again, pause the video, have a go at writing it down, and then I'll reveal the answer. So the answer that I would write is Captain Marvel is turning a quarter turn clockwise, then a 3/4 turn clockwise, because she's here turning to a quarter turn, and when she's in this position, it would be a 3/4 turn back to where it would be. Now, this one looks quite complex, but actually, if we just find and follow the pattern, it will become quite easy to understand. So we have Captain Marvel up, Captain Marvel right, Captain Marvel down, Captain Marvel left, Captain Marvel up, Captain Marvel right, Captain Marvel down. So the repeating pattern of these 4 shapes here. Now we've got up, we've got right, we've got down, so it must be Captain Marvel left. So how can we work out the missing shape? We follow the pattern. What would the next shape be? It would be Captain Marvel to the left. Captain Marvel would be facing 1/4 turn clockwise. And how would you describe the pattern? Pause the video using the keywords, have a quick go at writing it down. And you might write something like this: Captain Marvel is turning a quarter turn clockwise each time. Can you describe the pattern another way? I described it as Captain Marvel is turning a quarter turn clockwise each time. Can you do it a different way? Think about it, have a go. And it'll be interesting to hear your answers. I do have some questions here. You can obviously pause the video and have a quick look at them and do them one by one, or you can visit my TES webpage, which I have down as a link at the bottom of this video. And it's all free. Great, thanks for joining.